This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight, find out the latest on the water and sewage saga. Plus, the leader of the opposition says government needs to be more transparent in regards to the recent Grand LUCAYAN LOI signing. And a former Chamber of Commerce CEO outlines some progressive programs to improve the economic and social fabric.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. A list of all water and sewage employees with access to the corporation's valve keys will be handed over to police to assist as they continue their investigations. The move comes just days after a major disruption of water supply across New Providence as a result of sabotage. WSC Board of Directors making the announcement in a statement yesterday and adding that the corporation will hire private security to man its major pumping stations and install concealed cameras near its valves. The board described the incident as criminal and said it was committed by persons who clearly lack integrity and a real commitment to WSC. The board said they will not stand for any behavior that causes WSC to come into disrepute, nor would they stand by and condone any form of defamation or alleged criminal conduct. The corporation's executive chairman, Adrian Gibson, alleges that members of the Bahamas Utilities Services and Allied Workers Union are suspected of being involved and accuse Busawu President Dwayne Woods of flexing his muscles. However, it is an allegation that the union is denying. Meantime, a meeting is scheduled for Monday involving the management of the water and sewage and the union and the Director of Labor in an attempt to bring some resolution to the issues between the union and corporation. In other news, investigations are continuing into the alleged drowning of an elderly Caucasian male yesterday. It was reported that the man was on a diving expedition in western New Providence sometime around 3 p.m. when he lost consciousness in the water. He was subsequently retrieved from the water and taken to a nearby dive facility and transported to hospital by paramedics, where he later was pronounced dead. Police say foul play is not suspected at this time, and an autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Meantime, one man found himself behind bars last night after he was found in possession of a large quantity of illegal drugs. Drug Enforcement Unit officers, along with the K-9 unit, executed a search warrant on a home on Portigo Road in Oaksville. That probe uncovered 32.5 pounds of marijuana, which has an estimated street value of $32,500. The man was taken into custody and is expected to be formally charged in the magistrate's court next week. In other news this evening, opposition leader Philip Davis is calling on the Minnis administration to be more transparent when it comes to the recent Grand LUCAYAN letter of intent signing.
We believe that the devil is in the details. I therefore say to the government, make the details public. Do not hide behind a veil of secrecy. Once you have signed a letter of intent, you have done so on behalf of the Bahamian people, and they have the right to know.
The Office of the Prime Minister in Grand Bahama said that LUCAYAN Renewal Holdings Limited signed a letter of intent with the Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited and the ITM Group for the purchase of the Grand LUCAYAN Resort on Grand Bahama for $65 million and the redevelopment of the Freeport Harbor. The announcement said the first phase of the $195 million development is expected to create over 2,000 jobs in 2 years. The government purchased the resort last year for $65 million, with $30 million paid up front. Before the resort is sold, the government has to resolve any outstanding voluntary separation packages for staff wanting to leave.
All that the government has to show for its efforts are a letter of intent and joblessness.
Davis is the third member of parliament to question the signing in recent days. On Sunday, F&M MP for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine, said he was not excited about the LOI as it was not a purchase. A former Chamber of Commerce president is predicting some major changes ahead for the Bahamian economy. With that, we go to our Giorgio Bain.
The Bahamas has embarked on some progressive programs that are likely to greatly improve the economic and social fabric, according to former CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Edison Sumner. Sumner said the government's apprenticeship program being carried out by the Ministry of Labor, the government's digital transformation, and the country's full accession to the World Trade Organization are three very progressive steps.
The country is embarking on this new apprenticeship program. Right? I think that's extremely important, and that's, again, under the auspices of the Department of Labor. That is a progressive move because what that's doing is giving people in this country an opportunity to develop new skills, to be trained in new areas, and given new opportunities to get into new industries.
According to Sumner, the digital transformation of the government services will be huge.
On the government side, we've heard the announcements before, and I saw something in the papers this morning, I think or yesterday, from Freeport about this whole digital transformation in the government services, right? That is going to be significant. We know that the government has been, liaising with their counterparts in Estonia, following their model to get this up and running. When that happens, and it's not an if it happens, when that happens, that's going to be a significant shift for government services in the country, because now you're going to be having less reliance on human intervention or physical intervention, where a lot of the work that we see happening now, the services are going to become digitized.
Sumner explained that the country's accession to WTO will change the paradigm of trade, and we must get our people ready.
And when we look at that happening, then of course you've got to look at the skills that are in the service currently, and whether those skills that are represented are the ones who are going to take you into this new digital area, or if we now have to start training people in the civil service who can take advantage of these new opportunities, because technology is going to be ruling how we do things in the future. That's happening. And then, of course, probably the most progressive thing happening now is the country's rapid move to, well, I call it rapid now because it's an accelerated pace, but the move towards full accession to the WTO.
Reporting for our News Weekend Edition, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, thanks a lot, Giorgio. Still ahead tonight, the former immigration minister expresses concern over affairs of the Immigration Department. We'll explain with our news, the Weekend Edition.